far out. Despite all the times of, oh, we hope to get this released by X date and X date, and they never happened. It's happening now. Again, thanks to the DAO funding it, so it's 100% a priority. It can't be kind of co-opted with other things.
Let's put some music on this.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. Yeah, is there anything else I didn't touch on? That's kind of the end of my notes of what to cover.
Make sure the audio is coming through.
Sounds like perfect timing since we're about.
And yeah, I'm a couple minutes behind for anybody that's watching live.
Thank you to everybody that gave feedback in the UX and suggestions channel. We tried to implement what we thought were good ideas, so we're added them to the backlog. I think Lilyfire has been tagging everybody, but thank you for feedback to the community.
Yeah, absolutely, and not just things that we think are good ideas, but also things that we are able to get in with reasonably small effort. Some of the things are bigger projects. It doesn't mean that it's not a good idea if we don't do it right away. It just means we may not be able to get to it yet. Yeah, really want to encourage everyone in the community to keep giving ideas, whether it's through posts or contests or the feedback channels or whatever. And not to get discouraged if your ideas don't get implemented or take a long time to get implemented. That's part of the process. I mean, everyone on the team also has tons of ideas, and many of them don't get implemented. I've said even on our recent call, part of my job here is saying no to things. It's just the way of things. We have limited resources, so there's probably 100 good ideas, and we pick 3 of them. So it doesn't mean your idea is not good. It just means it may not align with our priorities or our resourcing right now. But the more ideas we get, the more chances we'll find those really amazing ideas that change the game. You just need to, the more shots you take, the more chance you have of hitting. So that's part of the value of our community is we only get so many ideas from our internal group at the company, but from the thousands of players, the amount of ideas we can get is much larger, and then higher chances of us kind of coming across the next big idea. So really want to keep encouraging that. With that said, let's turn it over to the Q&A portion of the show. Please, Ron already, he was ready, he got the message out, so please preface your questions with question. And I'll also say when posting questions in the town hall chat, in between the actual town hall events, I've put a reminder on my phone to try to make sure to get to those more often. Even if they're not a question and it's a suggestion or whatever it is, preface it with question, big and bold. It makes it easier for me because there's a lot of also, discussion in that channel. So I just really I scroll through and just look for a big word question. So if you want even if it's not actually, a question, if it's something you would like me to read and respond to, put question in bold before it. I won't get upset if it is in fact a suggestion and not a question. All right, let's see. And Ron, please jump in and let me know if we have some questions from the other chats, because I'm mostly going to be looking at Discord. Question from Kazrock. Regarding the Glamour system, have you guys made up your minds what kind of benefits Glamour is going to provide? I wouldn't say it's 100% set in stone, but yes, we do have ideas that we are currently going with. I'll share that they're currently things like increased glint or other things that will benefit you in the overall game ecosystem. We had kind of explored even giving cards increased stats potentially in battles with Glamours, and that's ultimately something we are currently not planning on doing for various reasons. But so look for a bunch of outside of battle benefits from the Glamours. Question from Brybro: any thought on including new card packs somehow in glint chests? Minor chests could have a higher rate for starter packs. Major and ultimate chests could have a higher rate for alchemy legendary packs. Possibly, we would have to, make sure we figure that out as far as the distribution of those. That would ultimately have to be a DAO proposal, because the DAO is the one who, is creating and selling the set and just hiring the company to do it. So I would say it's not out of the question, but there's a lot of things that need to be answered or figured out before we do that.
It'd probably be easiest to put them in the jackpot system that's already there to give out rare chance prizes. So if we put some packs in the jackpot account, they would go out to any type of chest with a increasing rarity chance.
Yeah. So we'll see about that one, I'll say. Question from Led Joel: hey Matt, hope you're doing all right. Yeah, doing good. I mean, it goes up and down, but especially energized and excited with the positive response to the recent proposal, getting the financial situation more under control, and just kind of all the things that we have in the hopper over the next 6 months. Doing much better, just thinking about that stuff more than dealing with problems. So thank you for asking. And then Joel goes on to say, I just had an idea about what to do with the old cards, mainly Alpha, Beta, and Untamed. We can have wager games where you wager a certain amount of FPS DEC at the beginning of each game and enter the arena. After the battle, the winner takes 90% and 10% goes to the DAO. And we can make the feature exclusive to older decks. Yeah, possibly. There's been a lot of talk internally and some ideas around types of systems like that where there's some type of value put in and then it's distributed to the winners. We'll have to see. I mean, I think my feeling is that type of stuff is cool to certain people. But there hasn't been historically a whole ton of appetite, even for like tournaments that had entry fees, just had extremely low participation rates. So I think that stuff is cool, and there's been a lot of ideas, like also like draft type tournaments where you would actually like packs to enter the tournament. You can only use the cards in those packs and things like that were tossed around. But as far as priorities go, I think the things we have lined up will have a much bigger impact. And you'll hopefully agree when we share some of those with you. So I like those ideas, but as far as like the actual impact they'll have and the actual like, number of people that will participate, I just don't feel like they're as high priority as some of the other things that'll have a bigger impact. Key to the Gate is asking, will Rooney go to Wild with Chaos or still be available in Modern? Good question. I'm glad you asked that. So I would leave that up to the community to decide. I didn't want to include it either way in the Conclave Arcana proposal. I wanted to kind of limit that to that set specifically. If that's something the community is interested in, I am totally on board with it and would be happy to put up a proposal to see if the community would like Rooney to be, kind of evergreen Modern card. Whereas otherwise it is part of the Chaos Legion set and would otherwise rotate out when the new set is released. So that's something that I see as a good separate proposal. I
like the idea. I'd probably vote for that proposal. Even if you don't own a Rooney, if with marketing and getting exposure from other chains, and how do you ignore Ethereum? It's just one of those things where it's like it's getting more eyeballs.
Oh my god, I would love that.
I like the idea.
Somebody
me too. So yeah, I would just I can say that we can go ahead, that the team can go ahead and submit that proposal at some point in the near future and get the community's feedback on it.
But the only slippery slope about that is then people are going to start saying, well, what about some of these other promo cards? That's the only thing.
Question from Key to the Gate. From the proposal, the team's actively exploring other ideas to provide ongoing utility and value for the older cards. Could you kindly share some of the ideas explored? Because I feel it's something that's extremely interesting to the player base and old players and very important as it'll set expectations on future card price behavior. Yes. So I don't want to share the idea yet, although that is a big part of what we're calling hardcore mode. I don't want to share it yet until we have more concrete things to share, because I don't want to start sharing stuff and getting people excited and then find out it changes or doesn't work for some reason. So that's like one of the big projects that we hope to have done again before the Conclave Arcana set comes out, and we'll share details as soon as I feel like it is ready. And not just share details, but also get feedback on it. So yeah, I understand that it's exciting and you're looking forward to it and soon. And part of also what we're trying to do is try to figure out a way not only to put in something really cool that gives value to older cards, but do it in a way where it's relatively simple to implement. There's like tons of cool ideas that are like, build this whole big new thing that we just realistically can't do in any reasonable time frame. So I've been trying very hard to pare the concept down to what it like can be implemented quickly and easily and actually get out and launched in the near future. And as soon as we have more details and clarity on that, I will 100% share it, because I agree that I think the community will be pretty excited. Question from Kozrock: will merits play a role in the glamour system? For people with max gladiators, merits aren't doing much anymore, so that'd be a cool way to give them more utility. Yeah, I mean, the idea is for glamours to be available, for everything. So there'll be, glamours for all sorts of different cards. And since glamours have a bunch of benefits that aren't like card specific, we can even introduce glamours without necessarily alternate card art if that's not ready yet. You can still get the cool effects that just can apply to any card, and the new card frame and the benefits in the game. So you can get glamours for gladiator cards with merits only, and you can get glamours for reward cards with glints only, and maybe you can buy glamours for promo cards with DEC or credits. Maybe there's special glamours for other cards that you can get that you can research on land or whatever. So the cool thing about glamours is it adds this like very wide open new thing to the system that we can offer for like every different type of asset can have access to certain glamours exclusive to that asset, which is one of the things that's very exciting to me from like an overall game economy perspective. Question from Sentinel Rainey: can we please have a holiday card? Well, we did do some updates this Tuesday to add some new art and graphics in for Halloween. Again, it just comes down to resourcing and time, and do we spend the time adding a specific holiday card versus kind of the other things that we're working on. So I don't know. I leave that, Rainey, if you happen to talk to Nate at any point, maybe bring that up. I'm not against it, but it comes down to the time effort.
Well, I will say that's part of the beauty of the glamour system, is that it's a lot easier to introduce a new glamour with a holiday skin than to create a whole new card with stats and abilities and balancing and testing and all the stuff. So I'm really hoping that once the glamour system's in place, then we can have all kinds of holiday glamours throughout the year and have lots of reason to celebrate those things. So I guess we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So whatever the team is able to put in or do, I'm not against it, but I'm not gonna like take people off other projects for it. Next question from Gathering the Magic. Is there a plan to include rare chase cards in future packs? These could be max level cards for each rarity in the set, limited and numbered, 100 or even 1 of 1. These could have alternate artwork, sorry, Nate, and frames. This would greatly incentivize pack sales and add that gambler's feel to buying packs. Imagine pulling a max level tofu alternate art 1 of 1. So yeah, that is something. I wouldn't say there's a plan specifically, but it's definitely something that's discussed. It's something that myself as a collector thinks would be really cool. We've kind of discussed a little bit some of the tech details of implementing that, and I don't think it would necessarily be that difficult. And it could be part of the Glamour system also. You could potentially, get let's say a tofu card that would just come with an exclusive max level Glamour or something. Is a way we kind of utilize what we're already building to do some of this stuff and just have that be available in packs at a very rare rate. So yes, I would love to do that. It's not like currently one of the items on the roadmap right now, but sometimes we are able to get stuff like that in. Maybe for the next set. So we'll just kind of have to see how things shake out over the next 6 months or so. Question from Birds, Bees, and Trees. Would you consider a wild league without fees? Have bots been totally eliminated from Modern? I miss using my level 4 kitty, but don't know why we have to pay to play now. Asking for a friend. Yeah, I mean, the reason for the fees in Wild League was, because there's rewards there, and we can't have a system where cards just can go on and earn rewards forever and ever and ever without any additional investment into the game, and that type of thing is taken advantage of by bots. So the Wild Pass, solves that problem, and it allows us to do more things. It allows us to give out more rewards and not have to worry about them always being exploited, as we've seen many times in the past. So, it's possible that there could be something that's like hardcore mode, which may allow you to use level 4 kitty in a way. So, again, when we're ready to kind of release more details about that, that may help solve your problem there. So I guess what the answer is, we'd like to solve that problem in a different way than just removing the fee league. Scrolling down, I saw SPS has been approving this message. I would like to ask people not to buy too much SPS in the near term, because I have some funds that should be kind of becoming available soon, and I plan to put them into SPS. So you want to do me a favor and wait a little bit. Much appreciated. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's a mention about if Blaze wants to jump back on. If anyone has questions for Blaze, around his thoughts and ideas for marketing. All right, cool. So he is available. Just throwing that out there. If anyone wants to ask him anything specific, what he's thinking, obviously he just kind of started recently and we're putting things together. But if you want to get his thoughts, good opportunity to do that. Question from Gathering the Magic. Can you give any info yet on the gold foil draws as far as cost per rarity and batch sizes? Yeah, I'm open. I think Royal, if you're listening, or Investy or anyone, if that's been kind of confirmed and ready to share, I have no issue with sharing that.
Yeah, Royal, do you have it in a better
Yeah,
format?
what's up,
I mean,
Bolts?
very messy.
It's a good one so far.
At the moment.
Well, how about, while I continue to talk, if either of you guys want to put something together and pop it in the chat.
Yeah, we'll put it in the chat.
All right, sounds good. There you go. It'll be in the chat shortly. I think we're at a point where we can share that. It's always possible that it could change before the release, as with everything, but I think we've got those numbers pretty ironed out at this point. Question from Roland Eden. The items get by many people in the ultimate treasure chest are too trash. Should the team consider removing potions and increasing the glint cost, or reduce the potion probability and increase the jackpot probability? Yeah, probably. I haven't specifically looked at the numbers from the different types of chests, but obviously the goal is to make all of the chests, seem like not seem like trash, I guess I should say. Have benefits to getting them and make people interested and excited to get them. That's another area though where glamours can come in, right? We can have glamours that you can receive possibly exclusively from those chests. And again, the glamours are planned to be non-transferable, so it would work very well in the glint shop and in those chests. So that might be a really cool way to improve the value of say the ultimate chests, is give possibly more or higher level glamours, or even exclusive glamours. Maybe you can only get glamours for the legendary reward cards in those chests, for example. So that's one of many ways glamours can help out with the overall economy. Question from Clay. If there's going to be a free-to-play version of the game where people can earn glint, have you considered removing titles and jackpot prizes? Otherwise, it's probably exploitable without further restrictions. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, one of the biggest things about the whole free-to-play idea is going through and making sure it cannot be exploitable in any way, shape, or form. So there's a number of ways we can do it. We can make certain things in the reward shop, not available to free-to-play players. For example, we could make it so that you don't get certain things, like you can still buy the chest, but you don't have the chance of getting a jackpot prize if you're a free-to-play player. There's a whole bunch of different options and ways we can go there, and that's all part of the process. Like I put together a high-level kind of spec with like all the bullet points and then a bunch of people on the team went through and added a whole bunch of comments and issues, and then we go back and forth and do all this. But yes, that's 100%. We are going to make sure it is not exploitable in any way, shape, or form. And that's part of the things like with Wild Pass and the whole glint system, like all that stuff together gets the game into a place where we can now make a free-to-play system that works, which was holding us back, I think, in the past. So, it's we've talked about sometimes that a lot of these things are like pieces of a larger whole plan. And to me, this is that plan starting to come together. Question: why is from Guil Heo? I apologize if I pronounce some of these names very incorrectly. Why is Chaos Legion rotating out of Modern sooner than the 4 years of Modern lifetime? We've had a core set release every 2 years with 1 or 2 months difference, but now we're cutting it short by over 6 months. What should we expect in the future? Will each set stay in Modern for 4 years, 3 years, 2 years? We need to have consistency for our investment. So first of all, I don't think we ever said that cards will stay in Modern for 4 years or any specific amount of time. So if that was assumed, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure we never said anything to that effect. And as far as cutting it, as far as what's happening with Chaos Legion rotating out of Modern, again, this is a proposal to the SPS stakeholder community, right? So this is the whole idea is to have this be a community and stakeholder run project. So if you don't agree with that, I mean, it specifically said in the proposal, if people don't want that to happen, vote against that proposal. So it's up to you guys, the player community, and that's one of the main values of the SPS token is you get to influence decisions like that. So it is not the only decision the team made was to propose what we have proposed to the community, and then it's ultimately up to the community what happens. And I think also just generally, in my personal opinion, 4 years is long for the lifetime of cards in Modern. I mean, typically our plan has been to release a new major card set roughly once a year, just based on things that have happened over the past number of years that didn't end up happening. But I personally think 4 years is a very long time for that. And again, as I mentioned many times in this town hall, we are working on what I think is a very cool new project that should hopefully provide value to the older cards, in particular Chaos Legion, that's expected or hoped to be released around the same time as the new set and when Chaos Legion goes out of Modern. So we're not just saying like, see a Chaos Legion, too bad. We're trying to put out the new set, which I think is important and the right way to go, and then come up with alternative solutions for Chaos Legion and other older cards, which will also apply then in the future as future sets rotate out of Modern. Scrolling down. Question. All right, there's a question for Blaze. If you want to, there he is. Hey, Blaze, welcome back.
Hey.
You want me to read it? I don't know if you're following along.
I see it.
Chat. Okay, great.
I haven't heard of that abbreviation before, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, I've already, Jimmy, I've already met. Creators to stream gameplay, yeah. Low-hanging fruit, any new card, streamers would use challenges to explore the new card and various. I told the internal team is, I think like bounties and things like this that will really add a spark into chasing the bounties and having fun with the game itself. And I'm going to be opening up a channel so the community can give me all their ideas, and then I can prioritize with a couple of other people, and we will work on implementing stuff. Anything that we can do right now without taking time away from the devs as well. And special thanks to all the content creators out there. You guys are pumping out great content. I'm really looking forward to things we can do together to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you, please.
So we do have another question from you from our YouTube audience.
Yeah, all right, shoot.
Blockchain Projects asks, Blaze, what is your vision for marketing?
My vision? Well, my vision is long. I want to be here for over a decade. This game's going to stick around. It's being built, and it can just keep getting better and better. Similar vibes to World of Warcraft in a different way, but I think the nostalgia is going to kick in, and we're going to bring those old players back because they're going to see how much fun we're having.
National Travel Channel. Yo, Boomy, what's going on? I'm watching on 1.5 speed. I got a little bit behind earlier, but it sounds like they're wrapping up soon anyways. Let's go. Go ahead. Continue here.
the rules, I think that would be a lot more engaging. So,
All right, so challenges, customization for challenges and tournaments. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
That's,
My
sometimes that's
internet's
the type
just
of thing
not happy.
Cryptomancer, gets real excited about and maybe spend some extra time on the side. I don't know.
We'll see when
But
we
we're
come
back.
to it.
Yeah. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm not telling anyone to stop working on other things and work on it, but
We do actually have some backlog tickets that are doing things.
yeah. All right, next question in Discord, again from Wheel Heyo. Suggestion to sell players the opportunity to design cards, just a name and art, can be drawing the card or just give input for the card. Can be different rarities, core sets, reward sets, or even promos. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're planning for Conclave Arcana to do the typical top 6 players on the leaderboard in the pre-sale can design the legendary summoners. A number of people have asked if there can be opportunities to design other cards. So we were maybe considering, adding leaderboard prizes for the current Hall of Legends to be able to design future promo cards. I generally like the concept of players being able to work with our team to design cards, again, with some creative rules and restrictions going forward. But yeah, I like that, and I'd like to see about getting some more of that in. Harry, you seem to be smiling. I don't know if you had a thought on that.
I was just thinking we're going to see a lot more cat cards.
Maybe it depends. I mean, yeah, we haven't seen one in a little bit. We've got a pretty good variety of cards, I think, with this last batch of legendary summoners. So, yeah. But hey, I don't know if someone wants to get to the top of the leaderboard on these things and they want another cat card, then we can have another cat card.
Yeah, we need dog owners to represent. I think the last time we had design with dog was Immortalis. They made sure there was a dog sidekick.
All right, there you go. Or even other more exotic animals. I love llama with a cactus friend. All right, what's the next one here? Mega Marcus for the basis for the promo cards. So for KEC in this context. Yeah, that's a good point. I said that just because we have different pack types, so it's not like how many packs you purchase. It's the cost of those packs. But I think I should have said DEC value, and that's a good note that I should update the post to say that. So just like if you buy legendary packs in the pre-sale instead of booster packs, you'd effectively get 6 times the value or points for the leaderboard. So I will update it to say DEC value, not dollar value. So in my mind, DEC is always at peg, and hopefully we'll get there, and then we won't have to make these clarifications. But yeah, for now, good note. Question: can you guys say Conclave Arcana 5 times fast? They said you guys, so it wasn't directed at me specifically.
I think that's a Blaze question.
Oh, I said it already. Sorry.
Whoever says it fast wins. Birds, Bees, and Trees is asking, will you do Christmas cards too? Love the Halloween skins. I don't know about special new Christmas cards, but I don't know, Nate, if you guys will have some Christmas themed or holiday themed skins when we get to that point of the year.
Yeah, we'd like to. If worst case happens, for some reason, the entire art team gets sick the rest of the year, we get slammed with other projects or whatever, we still have the holiday skins from last year. So
cool.
Hopefully we can expand those so it's not the same ones, but I would like to reintroduce those old ones and then add a few more. I think that'd be fun. So we'll see if we can do that.
Well, hopefully in the not too distant future, we can also just introduce holiday glamours. So it's not just a temporary thing that just happens in the game, but it's something that might be available, exclusive thing in the voucher shop where you can get a holiday themed glamour for a specific card that you can actually purchase with vouchers or merits or whatever. And so it'd be a longer lasting thing than what we currently do now. So again, one of the many features of the glamour system. I don't know how much is left, but I'm thinking it's probably a good time to cut off the questions. All right, well, still, people have had 40 minutes almost now to put in questions. I'll just remind everyone again, I now have a reminder in my phone to check the town hall chat on a regular basis. So feel free to post any additional questions that come up there whenever they pop into your head. Preface them with question in caps and bold the last few questions here and wrap it up and get back to it. I see a lot of discussion. Again, this is, I just scroll down until I see question. So if I missed any, let me know. The next one I see is from Quantum Nachos. Any updates now that Conclave Arcana has been announced on changes to land staking production for any and all sets? Personally imagining a subtle shift up for Untamed and lower. We have not, we've not done any work or thinking on that yet. So I think with that type of stuff, I prefer to wait until we get closer to the actual release, because things change a ton all the time. So anything we come up with now, like who knows how things are going to be in 5 or 6 months. So that's something we're definitely going to look at. I just see no point in doing it right now and then putting something out there. Question from Bug Test: can we have a fixed schedule / duration for one decision on how long or how many soulbound cards can be printed? I'm not sure. Are you asked just have a fixed schedule for like how long Conclave Arcana will be out and until the next set?
I don't know if he's asking about the soulbound reward sets, since the rest of his question focuses on that, like how long until we cycle out the Rebellion rewards for Conclave Arcana rewards, if that's going to be a fixed reward cycle timer. That's kind of how I understand his question. But
yeah, I mean, the thing that's tough is, like, again, I was just talking about how things change so rapidly. Like, my preference is to be flexible, and I know that makes things difficult for people, but it also like prevents us from being stuck into something that may end up being not the right way to go down the road. And I feel like that's happened many times to us in the past. We put out and say, this is what's going to be happening. This is what we're doing for like a year out. And then we get there and we're like, oh, actually, that's not what we really should be doing, but now we have to do it. So there's like, there's two sides to that coin. And I don't know. So, you know, and also if we're not really asking the question, if we're not answering the question properly, feel free to repost it or DM me. We can talk about it. I would love to be able to say, this is exactly what's going to happen. This is exactly when it's going to happen. And everyone plan accordingly. But again, I really don't want to back us into a corner or like force us to have to do something when we get to it and we're like, wow, you know, things changed considerably and now that is not the best thing to do for the future of the game. So that's where I come down on that. It's a difficult thing about planning for far ahead in the future.
I did want to read off. So Royal posted the response about the current gold foil costs. So what we're looking at right now for gold foil commons, it would be 3,500 glint per draw with 40 per batch. For rares, it would be 15,000 glint per draw with 20 per batch. For epics, it would be 125,000 glint per draw with 10 per batch. And legendaries would be 600,000 glint per draw with 4 per batch. So those are the numbers that we are currently looking at for anyone listening to this and not reading the chat.
Yeah, thanks. I skipped right over that because I'm just laser focused on looking for the word question. Yeah, we spent a lot of time thinking about that and pricing it and looking at data and all these things. My assumption is that some people are going to complain that it's too much because that seems to always happen. But again, you know, you don't have to buy these, and these are the gold foil cards, and they are meant to be very exclusive and, you know, a big social flex. So they're meant for the kind of highest end players who have put in a ton into the game and are earning glints to be able to purchase those. You know, I myself don't earn enough glint certainly to max out the gold foil cards, but you know, I'll definitely, maybe the rares and the modern and the commons, I mean, I might be able to swing. All right, I got a little out of place here. Yeah, well, Vedev tagged me, so I'll read that even though it doesn't say question, but talking about how the customizable challenges multiplies Blaze's ability, Blaze's reach and effectiveness. So yeah, so I do agree, and we'll see how things shake out with some of these other projects, and I think that might be one of those that gets on the list, like the priority list, kind of right after the top priority projects I mentioned earlier. I don't expect that would be like a super large project. In which case, yeah, I agree. It would be really good to get it in, especially to go along with our marketing efforts. I am scrolling past a whole lot of dog and cat and panda pictures. Where is it? I'll see the hair.
He also tagged you on it, so
Oh, sorry. It was after Ron closed the Q&A section, so I do not have to respond to it. No, I don't know who that hair belongs to. Am I supposed to?
You are supposed to know who that hair belongs to. Yes. It's a very, very famous hair in our community.
It's a famous hair. I guess I would say I don't really notice people's hair that much.
It's Ned Scott.
Oh, okay. You know, I was thinking that, but then I was like, which is actually surprising to me that I would even think that. But I was like, what? How does Ned Scott have anything like, that's so old news at this point? I figured it was someone more directly related to the Splinterlands community.
I won't lie. I thought it was Blaze's hair.
But yeah, a lot of people definitely, Ned Scott's hair
It's
was
like
for
right
some
there on the
reason
screen.
a big topic of conversation back in the day. For those of you who are listening who have no idea who Ned Scott is, despite being a very important person in our community, by our community, it's more meant the Steam and Hive community. He was the CEO of Steemit Inc. Back, when Splinterlands started there on the Steam blockchain, and is the one who sold all of the pre-mined stake that Steemit Inc. controlled to Justin Sun, which led to the whole hostile takeover of the Steam blockchain, which led to the creation of the Hive blockchain. So obviously, most of us are not big fans of Ned, but if you think about it, at the end of the day, things worked out extremely well as a result of that, and we were able to get away from Steemit Inc. and that whole pre-mined stake issue, and kind of build out one of the truest, like, decentralized and community-run chains that exist as a result of his greed and incompetence, I would say.
Crazy. I've been here for 3 years.
So,
Never heard that. Name.
In a way, thank you, Ned, for causing all of that to happen. All right, so I think we're at the end of questions. Once again, if additional questions pop into your head, go ahead and post them in the town hall chat. Preface them with question in big letters, and I will make sure to respond to them as quickly as I can before the next town hall, which is in November. Let me see if we have the date for that. Looks like, yeah, Ron will put it in chat, but it looks like it is Thursday, November 21st. It'll be in the evening at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Everyone can go figure out what time that is in their own time zones. So I look forward to talking with everyone then, and I hope we have a bunch more really cool, exciting updates in the next month. So without further ado, thank you everyone for coming on. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your ideas. Welcome again to Blaze. Really looking forward to having you kicking off marketing. Finally, we really excited to get that going and having you on the team. And we'll talk to everyone again in a month.
Thank you.
This is a story, the one where we will not accept.
Shoot, I'm muted. Well, okay, so that was that. Yeah, sorry if I was quiet for most of it. I was trying to take some notes for the 5 biggest takeaways later. I'm probably gonna have to listen to it again because I listened to the first half and then I got distracted with something, needed to take care of it, and then I was like, you know what, let me just jump on and I will and I'll just play catch up. So let's see, who do we have here that I missed? Brandon, and Brandon, thank you for all the sound notifications. I appreciate that. So Brandon's here, kitchen table gaming, something for all. I like that question. I felt like he dodged. Okay, so first of all, congrats to Blaze for joining the team. He's still getting his feet under him, but somebody asked him towards the end, like, what's your broad vision? And he's just like, it's a big vision, like 10 years. Again, I would love to get more of the nitty gritty with him. I'm expecting a People's Guild podcast episode at some point where they're going to dive into the deep end. So B-Jangles, make that happen if you're watching this. But yeah, it's obviously he's still getting his feet wet. So congratulations, welcome to the team. I've seen Blaze's name around on Discord here and there, but to be honest, I don't know much about him. I've never interacted with him before, so that's all relatively new for me. I guess I can go and try to stalk some of his old posts to see how he's been involved with the game. But if anybody knows him better, or could give me some kind of insight, I'd appreciate it, just because it's cool. So don't get me wrong, it's cool that there's someone from the community, but at the same time, you want to make sure that, well, actually, whatever. I feel like I'm being a little too critical right now. Main thing is I hope that he can deliver on a lot of the things that we're hoping for. My big thing is partnerships. At the end of the day, anybody can run ads, right? So I don't mean to diminish that, but anybody can run ads. I hope that he can bring in a wealth of partnerships and knowledge and relationships that we can leverage for the future. But even if it's not that, even if he's more like the operator guy, and then we have, as Matt mentioned, the potential to bring on somebody from Illuvium part-time to kind of work in collaboration, all that sounds really good. So either way, I'm happy that there's somebody on the team that's now thinking about this, that has the broader vision of where Matt is going to go. And yeah, I mean, look, his first town hall, I don't know how long he's actually been with the team, but welcome. And I'm hoping that we can get a deeper dive into what the marketing plan is going to look like. Maybe not this town hall, but if he can jump on the next town hall or do a third party interview, that'd be great. Boom Me says, how does it make sense to sell more cards while there is crazy oversupply just to cover the cost developing the set and cards, while it will further devalue the older ones? So, okay, I saw this a while back, and I'm going to answer in a way that's probably going to infuriate your Boom Me, but just know it's coming from a good place. I'm not trying to take you on here. Main thing is, and as Brandon says in the next thing, this is a game, right? And in order for the company, any TCG company, to make money, they need to create cards. They need to consistently create cards. So you and I look at this crazy oversupply that happened with Chaos Legion, and I'll tell you this, none of us ever complained about a crazy oversupply when it came to Magic the Gathering cards or Pokemon cards, right? That stuff was printed. We had no idea what the print rates were, and we just treated it like a game. So, from that perspective, the company's treating it like it's a game, right? I mean, they're putting out cards, and if you want to stay competitive and play in modern format and have all the cool new shiny things, well, they're putting out new products, which every trading card game does, right? Every game to a certain extent does. We've just gotten so conflated with the whole investment side of this that we look at Chaos Legion as this thing that needs to retain or gain value over time. And look, you're not wrong. I've been there. I am there some days with you, right? It's just it's kind of sad that I bought these cards for super expensive, but really the people that got hurt the most were the ones that made the quote unquote investment into them, meaning that they were expecting a return. Whereas I'm definitely burned, right? So I'm in the same boat as you, but I had to shift my thinking a while back and just be like, I bought my cards. I'm not planning to sell them. I didn't buy more than I needed. In fact, I bought less than I needed in order to, to max out my Chaos Legion deck, which is not even maxed out yet. And I'm just in a position now where it's like, like the team's putting out new cards because they're moving forward with this, and they're making a commitment to give older cards value through land and through this hardcore mode, which I find actually kind of exciting. So that's the commitment that they're making. You can take it or leave it. Land has been the commitment that they've made for a long time. They failed multiple times, or just have not met the deadlines that they were promising initially. And now there's no like real deadlines outside of the short-term ones like Q1 next year for 1.75 and yada yada. So yeah, I mean, how does it make sense for them to sell cards? Well, they're a gaming company, and every 18 to 24 months, they're going to put out a new core set. That's just what it's been, and that's what it's going to continue to be. And we can sit around and, not be happy about the oversupply of a previous set. And I think you'd be rightfully so to be unhappy about it. Many people have left, and I'm not trying to like kick you out or say like you should leave. It's just, it is what it is. If you believe in where they're going, and this, sorry, I'm really not trying to make it like you either believe in the vision or not. Like, it just is what it is. Like they're going to sell new cards. The idea for me is that selling new cards for people that treat this as a game. And I mean like people that genuinely don't necessarily care about like the price tag of certain things, but are going to just want to collect every card and go and buy in on the next set. I mean, they're the ones that are going to carry the economy forward, right? Because they're going to push, hopefully, DEC back up to peg, push the value of SPS up. Pushing the value of SPS up gets more players into the game, whether they play Modern or Wild or Land. I think Chaos Legion will always be a big part of that. But Chaos Legion is one of one. It is one of one. Nobody's complaining about an oversupply of Untamed. Nobody's complaining about an oversupply of Rebellion. So, it's a huge blemish on the past, but it's all something that we've actually moved on from now. I mean, it's been almost a year that Rebellion has been out. All right, so Brandon answered this as well. News cards are used in modern gameplay. Yeah, MTG does exactly the same. So Boomy says Splinterlands gameplay to outsiders now just looks like a simple flash game with a crazy cost attached to it at $4 a pack. They need to rethink the pricing, $5 or $5K for a new set. Yeah, man. I would love for an easier entry point into the game. I like the fact that they're pushing a little bit more of like a free-to-play aspect, as well as everybody getting a set of NFTs to start the game with. So that to me is actually a positive thing. And I'm comparing this to Parallel, for example, right? Which I'm just a beginner level player in Parallel as well, where I bought the starter deck. It's like $25-$30, right? So similarly, you're now going to be in a position where you pay $10 for the spell book and you get 25 NFTs, right? What do those 25 NFTs get you? Maybe not much. But you also get some credits that you can go out and spend and rent some cards, and you can start earning. Now, Parallel was in an interesting spot earlier this year where I bought the set, right? The starter deck for like $30. But because Prime was so high, it almost hit like $30. And like they had very high emissions early on. I did really well when it came to like 5xing or 6xing the amount of value that I put in. But I'll tell you this, I think that, even if the rewards weren't fantastic, just the ability to come in and play the game for $30 is, I don't want to say like a selling point, but it makes it much more attainable. I don't think a lot of people are going to come in trying to get 5K a pack or spend 5K in total. I think it'll be interesting is if you get folks that come in, just take little bites of what's there, see if they like it, and then choose to go in deeper. Now, does that exclude a lot of folks that are not willing to play at the highest levels? Yeah, but you know what? The game has always been top heavy. And I think it's almost a bit of a fantasy to think that there's going to be a kind of low level long tail to the game. I think as long as there are rewards to be earned, then people will always strive to do that at the higher levels. Especially because you cannot scale up the lower levels the way that we used to anymore. You have to own some cards, and the way that the rewards are exponentially higher at higher leagues doesn't leave much for the lower side. So my hope is that we're able to pull in a lot more whales. I know that's probably going to be a controversial statement, but a lot more whales. I'm not even talking about like Vugtis. I'm talking about people. You know what? Maybe whales is not the right thing. I don't know what you would consider someone like myself. I don't know what you consider someone like I don't know, like anybody who's playing in like gold diamond without, you know, fully maxed cards, that isn't buying all of the promo cards, but something that's willing to throw a couple $1,000 into a game, into a project, buy into the idea for the long term, and then just ride it out. Because again, we've done the math on this. There's like 2,000 to 3,000 maybe players like that now, maybe even less. So imagine a scenario in which we 10x that to like 20,000. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. All right. I'm not talking about 20,000 whales. I'm talking about 20,000 people that are willing to come in and spend a couple $100 on a game, or $1,000 on a game. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that looks like, but the higher SPS goes, the more attractive that becomes for a larger group of people. And at the end of the day, you know, I had the chance to try Off the Grid last night, and again, I just jumped in. I've obviously watched a lot of videos for Axie and for Illuvium. I've played Parallel. I'm not out there in terms of like playing a bunch of games, but in terms of what I've played so far, nothing offers the best play to me. Splinterlands still offers the best play to earn experience, which we should actually change that up now, right? Because Splinterlands is not really play to earn. If you think about the way that people approach it, it's very much grind to earn, right? Whereas you can look at something like Off the Grid as much more like play to earn. People play the game because they like it, and it's like, oh, if you get some like hexes or crates or whatever it is, then like that's cool. But people play the game because they enjoy the game. With Splinterlands, yes, you definitely have a hardcore group of people that enjoy the meta of the game, but the majority of people that came in 2021 onwards were all grind to earn people that were trying to play video games for a living, right? Which is, it's kind of a fantasy in and of itself. All right, Boom Me says, I hope that the alt season starts when it's released. That is the only way they might make some money. Well, I mean, you're not wrong. And if you think about it, well, actually, we'll see. I think that this proposal, roughly 600K, covers them for the next 6 months, right? Because they said there's a 100K deficit that they have to overcome over the next or for the foreseeable future, right? Their revenue is roughly 150K. Their expenses are about 250K. Getting this essentially covers them between now and the launch of Conclave Arcana. And that doesn't include any sales that they might have from the end of Rebellion, as well as the pre-sale for Conclave Arcana, and then of course the general sale once that begins. But I agree with you. I think alt season and the market pushing forward is definitely a positive thing overall. Aaron Kennedy, when was this? Yeah, we were watching it live. Or I mean, I was maybe like a minute or two behind towards the end. And then is now when Panda card. Well, they said they want more animals. So International Travel Channel, get your Panda card ready. Dan, the music is fire. Thank you. Yeah, okay. So I was muted. Now let's catch up with the rest of the chat. Aaron Kennedy says, what's your grand vision? I grew up in a middle class. Oh, it's so funny because it's so true and it just hurts. Oh, what did he say? Again, it's his first day, so I really don't want to like harp on this, but somebody asked like, what's your grand vision? And he's like, I have a 10-year vision, and then didn't give any details. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. According to Discord, Blazos came to during the SPS run, December 2021. Interesting. He said that he joined in 2020. Sorry, I'm really not trying to fact check him here. I'm just remembering that he said, yeah. Aaron Kennedy, what's his 5-year plan? Not die. Name that movie. I can't name that reference, sadly. All right, I understand. With that in mind, the price is that totally crazy. LOL. Yeah. So you know, I'm being a little hyperbolic with the fact that like I'm saying, you know, the game is always going to be dominated and top heavy, but I do wonder if there's an opportunity, as Matt has envisioned, for people to just come in and play much more casually, right? If you come in and you spend $10 on a set, right, or on a what's that called, spell book, you get 25 NFTs from that. Maybe you buy like another 1 or 2 starter decks, right, or starter packs. Let's say you spend 10 to $30. are you trying to make like tons of money, or are you just enjoying the game? And the proof of concept that I'll give you, I'll admit, is anecdotal, but I played in bronze with only starter cards for the first 6 months that I was here. From August, well, no, sorry, not 6 months, 5 months. From August to December, when I finally bought a bunch of Chaos Legion packs. It was too expensive for me to play at the higher levels, but I was having fun just playing at the lower levels and earning like little bits. Like I knew that it was not much, but it was just fun. And it was like the idea that like every single battle that I played, every single battle that I won, I was earning like little bits of cryptocurrency. And there was no progression system back then. It was DEC, right? So even earning DEC was not like, oh, you're earning stake in the ecosystem, right? Well, actually at the time it was, because you had the airdrop going and DEC was valuable for that. But it was, yeah, I don't know, different time. But like I said, there might be an opportunity for that, just because I know anecdotally for myself that playing at the lower levels was perfectly fine. And I think that we can, if we get into a raging bull run again, I do think that if SPS goes high enough, you will get people that come in, give the game a try, find it to be somewhat fascinating, right, at the lower levels before they understand just how like powerful, or like how much the game kind of scales up. And you know, maybe they make the decision, maybe they don't, but I don't know that that's like, I don't know that that's like necessarily a bad thing. Like I've said for the longest time that this game lacks a casual framework for people to come in and play casually. And maybe we can get there. I'm not as hopeful of that, because I think diehard players in the game are always going to be what drives it. And diehard players tend to be those who have higher level decks and can earn and have, you know, play at the higher levels. But, you know, I reserve the right to be wrong about that in the future. I reserve the right for greed to absolutely take over in the bull run and people come in for a fraction of an SPS, because SPS hopefully is higher. Dragon is in the house. Let's go. Oh, Big Dad. Oh, is that Big Daddy? What's his 5-year plan? Not die? Dang it. I remember that movie too. Agreed. Says Boom Me. It is what it is. Lady Medusa says my account is like years old. Oh, it's 3 years old. I don't play consistently, but I still like the game. I've like land. Well, hopefully we're gonna get some land stuff soon, Lady Medusa. Well, sorry, when I say soon, like 4 to 6 months. But you know, I remain. So I do remain actually quite bullish on land, because at least from what Matt has said, it sounds like they're, I don't want to say taking my advice, but like I put out the video a while ago saying like they really need to like pivot on land, and we need to take a much more thoughtful and varied approach to 2.0. Right, we'll get there, but I think the fact that like we're gonna work on land 1.75, you're gonna get a couple more resources, and now they're you know, Matt today was talking about, oh, let's get you know, we'll maybe the wagons will require some what's that called, require some of the land resources to get involved. Maybe it'll require some of this this and that. Maybe glamour is going to play a role in you know, land resources and all that. I like it. My hope still is that by like the middle of next year, if they can get 1.75 out, is that we can actually get, I don't know how it'll go, but if we can get items and spells with Conclave Arcana, I think that will be awesome. Now, that's not anywhere in the roadmap for the team, it seems. But in the same way that we got tactics as like this brand new thing, it'd be awesome if by that point in time, if for example Cryptomancer is able to get land 1.0 out, sorry, 1.7 out in January, February, or something like that, if they can turn around and say, hey, you know what, take the Scarecrow idea, take the wall idea, whatever it is, right? Just something that we can introduce that new step, land immediately becomes way more valuable. Immediately becomes way more valuable, because then everybody's like, I need a Scarecrow, or I need a wall, or a barricade, whatever you want to call it, right? And everybody starts shifting over their plots, buying wood, buying stone, buying ore. I mean, the game economy becomes so much more integrated, which I think is great. Boomy says, I do like the battle pass feature in parallel. Yeah, it's definitely solid. I rent them out. Something similar in SPL would be cool. I agree. I wish that there was like a card given out every season. Although maybe that would be interesting. Although we already have reward cards, so I suppose it's not that big of a deal. But it'd be cool if there was like a specific card, like promo card that you could get from playing the game. But then again, all reward cards function like that. Lady B just says, yes, I don't regret buying the game at all. Very cool. Canada coming in from Twitch as well. Yes, we're live on both Twitch and YouTube, and I'm glad to see that we're getting some more folks on Twitch. I feel like we lost a lot after Splinterlands TV went down, but I'll be streaming there regularly now, or at least dual streaming. Brian says, what do you mean instead of whales? The diehards, the core base of 1,000 true fans? What do you mean instead of whales? Well, yeah, I mean, I subscribe to the 1,000 true fans theory. I think that it takes more than 1,000 people to sustain a game like Splinterlands. Actually, let's check this out. Since we're on this topic, now curiosity has gotten me. They need $3 million a year in order to operate. So 3 million divided by 1,000 means that of those 1,000 diehard fans, they would need to spend $3,000 a year supporting the company. Do you think that we have, on average, 1,000 people that are willing to spend $3,000? My thought is no, at least not right now. I think we probably have like 1,000 just real players in general, right? And when I say real players, I'm talking about like not casual, but folks that are following more regularly. So the cool thing is that this gets exponentially easier the more players that we have. So you increase it to 3,000 players, having to spend $1,000 a year, and I think that becomes much more attainable. Again, on average. You increase it to 6,000 players, and all of a sudden that becomes 500 a player. Right? So I don't know. This is what I'm saying. Like the sweet spot could be like we might only need like 10 to 20,000 players, and I mean like not alt accounts and bots and whatever, but like 10 to 20,000 people that buy into the vision, that are willing to be around here long term, and you know just continue building. Lady Medusa says, right. Burning Elk, yo, that town hall was sick. Cold Ass says, playing at low levels was okay because there were leagues, and there was no way you'd be matched with a champion player in, say, Silver League. True. True, but even still, it like those leagues still had their issues, right? Like if I wanted to get to Silver, for example, I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it unless I rented out Yodin and Llama at the time. So I get what you're saying. I think there's pros and cons. I'm not like anti bringing leagues back, but I kind of want to see how this plays out. And I've given the JV league idea as an option. When does the company get 600 million DEC? My guess would be once this is approved. So they just put it out yesterday, 2 weeks, right? 7-day draft phase, 7-day proposal phase. So I'm thinking by the end of October, assuming all goes according to their plan. Sudion says, I feel like the starter would tank the EV of regular boosters, maybe increase chance of epics, or have a cap for starter. I think the starter... Okay, so I agree with you. I think the starter packs we need to talk about them a little bit more. They need to be massaged just a little bit. I think the team can be much more thoughtful about it. Like I guess see now we're getting into a tough spot here, because it's like I trust them, but they've also made mistakes in the past. So no, I do trust them in terms of like getting it right. The numbers don't make sense for me. Like when I was listening to Matt talk about like the dollar per like legendary card or something spent getting legendary packs. Like, I mean, I haven't mathed it out. I trust him on that. I would assume that a lot of the higher level whales or people that want legendary or gold foil cards will come to the same conclusion when it comes to the math behind it. But the starter packs is one that really is something that I don't fully understand yet. I like the idea. Don't get me wrong. I like the idea of having something available, but it's like a standard booster pack gets you 5 cards with a guaranteed rare and the potential to get something higher, even though you normally don't. And that costs $4. For $1 more, you can get 5x the amount of cards. You're just not going to get anything higher level. They're too similar to me. Like, they're too competitive with one another. And maybe that's what you're getting at here. And I've said as well, like, it's going to bring down the value of commons and rares, which, just being objective, like, if those are the entry points into the game, that's totally cool too. You look at something like Parallel, and it's like actually significantly cheap to get all of the common and rare cards, and then all the higher level stuff, the higher rarity stuff. I mean, that's where things get really scarce. So, bananas. Oh dang, I missed this, and I missed the town hall. No worries, man. It was a good one though. You did miss a good one. Darkest Kennedy said, oh sorry, Darkest Kennedy. Aaron Kennedy says, is Darkest Night gone? Yeah, I'll say that he's gone. I don't think that he's. Let me put it this way. And I talk to him multiple times a week, right? Sometimes multiple times a day. But I think he's just done with Web3 gaming in general. So I wouldn't expect him to hop on to chat Splinterlands. We've talked about doing just gaming streams in general. There's a couple of Web2 games that I want to jump into with him. So maybe you'll see him there. But in terms of like Splinterlands, his stuff is on autopilot, and I don't think he even remembers to check it. So Lady Medusa says, Clove let me rent a crazy summoner, and I was hooked. Yeah, the Clove was awesome for me too, one of my first live streams. Aaron Kennedy, given Fed has started easing rates, seems likely we are heading towards more light than dark. But if when QE turns back on, we'll be going full light a day. Money printers go burr. So I'm curious, Brandon, when do you think that the money printers get turned on? Because everybody was waiting for an incident, we'll call it, for them to have a reason to start printing like crazy. It's been good to see the easing of rates. I think people are expecting another rate cut in November, and I think that can definitely start things. But we don't have the fiscal stimulus? Is that the money printing side? How bullish are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Or Aston Brandon is a 6. Okay. Lady Medusa says, sorry, I spent that on car maintenance and a new computer. What did you spend? Oh, I guess your earnings. My 8+ years of knowing Bitcoin and 6+ years in the crypto markets has made me more cautious. My actions are DCA into positions for past 3 months and going forward. That's the best way. Stack sats and chill. $3,000 a year on your car? Oh, on a computer? All right, if you want to see who's spending money, just look at the Hall of Legends. Yeah. I mean, there's people spending money. People willing to spend money. Mondroid says, once Chaos Legion rotates out the leagues, will naturally come back since not everyone will have a max deck for 600 available. You know, that's a great point, Mondroid. I'm very curious to see what the next modern format looks like. I think Rebellion will dominate regardless, but depending on how heavy people go into the new California set, there could be an opportunity there for players. I mean, even now, I'm going through and facing a lot of like the liquidity bots, and they're obviously easy-ish to beat, but they might be more formidable once we get to Conclave Arcana coming out. Brand says, I think starter packs won't have significant effect on EV of the standard pack. Interesting. I'm curious why. All right, I think you guys are way overblowing the impact of starter packs. Maybe we are. They're just so difficult to quantify. Burning Elk. Now, I mean, I was even saying this yesterday when we were going through the proposal. I don't think people are going to buy starter packs if the cards themselves are cheaper on the marketplace. So starter packs to me only make sense if commons and rares have a high estimated value, right? A high set value for those rarities. Otherwise, like, why would you take a chance? You're not gonna pull anything jackpot from there, as opposed to the standard packs. So you're probably right. I'm seeing both sides of it. I just don't know how to quantify the downside. Mandra says, yeah, I'm fine with the starter packs as is. If people are actually buying those, then gold foil, epic, and legendary will make up for the lower common rare value. True. Agree with Mondroid. Okay. I don't think many will be sold outside of spellbooks. Okay. Spellbooks are the best use case for it too. Gold Manners will buy and hold all Alchemist packs. Let's see. All right, start saving for that auction. Need that card. Oh yeah. What'd you guys think of the new card with the new abilities? What was it called again? Halloween? Halloween? Was this supposed to sound like Halloween? This is perfect time for it. Did they say when it's going live? I know that they said they were gonna put it in on the October 29th window, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily going live that day. Sometimes they have like the countdown page. But maybe not. We'll see. All right. So Brian says money purchasers get turned back on after a crisis. So I think we are still waiting for that. No clue what or when that comes. Okay. So see, you and I are kind of subscribed to the same thing here. Has me living on edge just a little bit, right? I don't know what that crisis ends up being. I thought it was going to be the banking crisis, but they seem to have dodged that bullet with money printing, right? Because consider the fact that we had very high interest rates, yet they were printing money on the back end. You had stimulus from a ton of other countries around the world, and Bitcoin still pumped to over 70K back in March. And they only started reducing interest rates, easing interest rates, was it last month? It's when you ask all the real fans would pay $3,000 a year. Oh, okay, you said you would pay. Well, there you go. There's one. Oh, no, sorry. You said you spent that on car maintenance and a new computer. Fair enough. Well, this is what I'm saying. I think 1,000 players is too little. I think, again, you make that 10,000 players and all of a sudden it's $300 per player. I think $300 a year on average from 10,000 players is much more attainable. So just a little thought experiment there, but you can see how the numbers break down. Okay, let me see. All right, so I've been live for a while, but obviously a lot of that was for the town hall. Let's see, we can stay on for maybe another 30 minutes or so. All right, Boomy says bought cards need to have more value in the game than Soulbound. Yeah, Soulbound is always going to be a big issue. I actually hope that Glamour becomes a thing, because I would love to see them transition to more Glamour options rather than Soulbound reward card options. Ghosty BG says it will sell for 1 million DEC on average. That's what I think. All right, Ghosty BG. All right, my question for you. Sorry. My question for you, actually not for you, but for everybody. They did not mention the amount, right? They did not mention like the starting amount, because every auction has like a starting minimum bid price. I wonder what that's going to be. But you know, that's going to be fun to watch every day. So if it does go live in the next couple of days, we'll be watching that on the live streams. All right, so Burning Elk says new card looks sick. Curious what the price will be. We shall see. That's my question. Someone else from Twitch. Let's go. 3x4 says Kelia is already Halloween. Was quite surprised. Yeah, so Kelia, Uraeus, and Venari Muskrat each have a cool Halloween skin. And I wish that was something that like people could buy if they wanted to keep after the season was over. Heloise the Hollow. Okay, thank you. Oh, they really, yeah, Hollow is kind of like Halloween, right? Hallows Eve. I spent over $3,000 this year, but not directly with the SPL company. Okay, that's fair. I'm trying to think of how that cannibalization works, right? Somebody buys $3,000 worth of value, but then if you buy some of that value from them, it's still bringing dollars into the ecosystem, though. True Boomy, but Soulbounds are also bought when you unlock. Yeah. Is the NFT hype over? Will it come back? You know, I don't know. I was never into the whole NFT thing. It was just too much monkey pictures for me. I think that it's cool in terms of like creating a sense of community for a lot of the folks that were into it. But I was not there. The minimum is probably 1 DEC. Money printer's back on, just like a global M2 supply. Yeah, so you're absolutely right. That's what I've been tracking as well. A lot of the hardcore Bitcoin maxis follow that, so I'm following that tangentially too. But the US money printer hasn't really been turned on in the same way. We did a lot of back-end stimulus for the banks last year that pushed, you know, Bitcoin from 25 to 60K, we'll call it. But I don't know if there's going to be something massive that happens here. And again, I'm not talking about like apocalypse now. I'm saying just like something failing. I know Rogue Pal is rotating into high-end NFTs, but is he an exception? Very true, Cold As. I don't know. Who's Rug Pal? Is that? I think I know who you're referencing, but I've never heard that name before. All right, so to those doubting starters not having an effect, how many times have you guys opened regular booster and got 4 common, 1 rare? Wouldn't you wish you bought a starter instead for $1 more? Well, that's the thought process here, right? For people trying to max out lower level stuff, I don't know what the EVs are, but well, actually no. Brandon calculated this yesterday. So I think it was 3.2 million DEC is how much you would need to spend on average to get the appropriate amount of rares and commons. So that's a lot. I mean, that's still like $3,000, $3,200. So Leandro says, I started playing Ragnarok Monster World yesterday. Looks promising. Nice. Okay. I tried out Off the Grid yesterday just briefly. My graphics are so horrible on my PC. I don't know if I'd be able to swing playing it on stream, but we'll give it a try. Canada 804, what's up, everyone? Wait, weren't you just on Twitch? I guess you jumped over to YouTube. Cool. Well, pick your poison. Thanks for being here. Boom Me says Nvidia could fail. What? How? I don't know. I sadly, well, no, actually, I do own some Nvidia stock, but not nearly as much as I could have or should have. My Nvidia story is I was really big into VR back in 2016 with the launch of the HTC Vive. And then, you know, the Oculus Rift was new at that time too. And the graphics cards were a huge thing back then. This was before, like, you know, AI went crazy and Bitcoin mining and all that stuff went crazy. So like, I remember, I don't know what the price of it is now. And so I let's see, actually, hold on. You want the real numbers? I'll tell you the real numbers. Cause this is a big miss for me. Nvidia. So let's go back. Max, right? So this is 2016. let's see. Okay, so yeah, I need to do it because I think they've done like a stock split. So here we are, and it was like September of 2016. Oh yeah, so let's go with around, yeah, in like July, August, it was like $1.50 for Nvidia at that time. Okay, it was obviously more at that point, but obviously they done stock split. But with current prices and share dilution, it was $1.50 in July, August of 2016. By December, it had jumped up to, let's see here, like December, January the following year, it was close to $3. And I was like, oh man, this thing did a 2x. Whatever. I don't like, that sucks. Like I missed the boat, right? All done. Today, Nvidia sits at $140. So that would have been a nice clean, like 70 plus X. But you know what? I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk. I had some other good stuff at the time. I got into Shopify. I got into a couple other stocks. Sadly, didn't get into MicroStrategy. That would be good, but that was a couple years early for that. But that's my Nvidia missed story. Couldn't see the bigger picture. All right, so Sudian says, oh no, Brandon's replying to Sudian. It isn't for the TCG familiar or bigger wallets. It is for many, many players over the years, begged for more cost-effective access to play with cards. Yep. Raul Powell is Rug Pal. Yeah, okay. I remember listening to him a lot in 2020, 2021. And obviously a lot of the predictions that he was making did not come true. And it's just funny because like he'll get into interesting discussions with like Bitcoiners and then just not see the bigger picture there. He's still like messing around with too many garbage projects. All right, Twitch is a little glitchy for some reason. Oh, I don't know why that would be the case. Stream health looks good. It says excellent. Oh, sorry about that. Blame Twitch. Nvidia's 11% of US GDP, a bit bubbly. I mean, okay, so it could absolutely be a bubble, but how does it fail to the point where like the U.S. government needs to come and bail it out? Is it providing anything that's like essential that it makes it considered too big to fail? Cola says, I just think it's a matter of maxing up everything to your desired league. Yeah. Boomy says, did you see Sailor said to Rug Pal that Bitcoin will welcome him back? Yeah, I know. That's one of the exchanges that I saw recently. DJ's in the house. Let's go. But he said he can't buy Biddy as he needs to make money. Yeah. Yeah, he says he needs to like make better investments and therefore has like a meme coin allocation. It's like, bro, come on. Like this is Bitcoin's like the easiest 100x of the next decade. And you're going to sit around and play with meme coins because you need money now. All right, Brian says, will you grab some Rebellion packs before it's sold out? I think I have to. I think I have to at this point. Because of the added value with the Conclave Arcana conflicts. Wow. Say that 5 times fast. California conflicts. Because of that, I think there's too much of an opportunity to and I mean when I say grab packs, not even just like to sit on the packs, but I might like open them up and start playing with some of the cards. Or the other option that I've actually been looking at is like, what are some of the Rebellion, like instead of like buying just a bunch of like random packs, if I want to improve my overall gameplay, what are some of the core cards that I could and should be, trying to grab? Max level, this stuff is expensive. And if we look at just summoners, because that's probably the biggest thing. Oh, and actually, let's go to all levels. I mean, Tofu's just so far up there. Lorcas, Cryptic, like all these guys seem somewhat reasonable. So here's the interesting thing, right? A little bit of a parallel to what happened in 2020 and 2021. But I remember talking, and I'm sure many others who were around in 2020 and 2021 can attest to the same thing. But I remember talking to Darkest Night about his experience at that time, and he just kept saying like, yeah, I just remember like on the shelves there were a bunch like Yoden and Llama and Kitty were each going for like $20. It was like, that's it. And then next thing you know, they're like in the hundreds, and or Yoden I think hit like $1,000 for BCX. So we're in a similar situation right now where every day you can grab one of these cards for like $15-$20. And if the launch of Conclave Arcana, which will be during hopefully the hypest time of the bull run, ends up turning Rebellion into Untamed, can you imagine if the same thing happens to these cards and you get Tofu and Lorcas going for stupid amounts of money? Just a thought. Just a thought. Wow, is this thing really going for 5 cents a day at 1 BCX? Oh, because there's no 1 BCX versions of it. That's crazy. Why not? Okay, I guess this makes more sense. A Kane's going for like 2 DEC. I don't know, man. Don't know. All right, so Blockchain Project says, in 2016, China printed a huge amount of money to inflate the world. 2020 was the USA. 2024 is China's turn again. And then 2028 will be the USA. China is already talking about massive stimulus. Have you seen that lately? I mean, they need to prop up a lot of stuff within their own economy. USA will be 2028. I mean, you think we'll start to feel the effects of population collapse by then? Dragon says, oh, by the way, I don't think Nate loves the name California for his set. I would be shocked if he did like it. But I mean, look, if I'm going to be saying Conclave Arcana for the next 18 months, 24 months, then it's got to be easier. So California it is. California. All right. Let's see. Back in the day, I was planning to invest in BNB, but then it pumped to $5 and I thought it's too expensive already. Oh, man. Do you know, another fun story. I don't have the, hold on. BNB is another massive miss for me. Since we're doing story time here. Oh God, it's so bright. So let's find BNB, because BNB was actually something that I was holding on to. So if you go back to 2017, towards the end of that bull run, yeah, I had a silly amount in the like $1 to $5 range. Because I kept hearing like, oh, Binance was like a huge chain. If you remember this, and then there was Neo as well at the time. Everyone was talking about like, oh, Neo's the Chinese Ethereum. I don't know if anybody else heard that, but I had a good amount of BNB and I had a good amount of Neo. This is before Binance became Binance US. Yeah, I'm talking like 20, and you can see what Neo did, right? So 2017 was a phenomenal year for Neo. So yeah, I was holding those, and then leading into, or in the bear market of 2020, that's where I turned myself into a full on Bitcoin maxi. So you can say that, you know, being a Bitcoin maxi at that point probably hurt me, because damn, if I had held from 5 to 500 on BNB, that would have been so nice. But I did not. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. All right, $5. That would have been a nice 100x, right? Tell me about it. Tell me about it. I think that Cryptic is more useful than Tofu. Tofu is only super good in melee. Fair enough. I have not actually run into any Cryptics, I think. Maybe once, if memory's serving me right. But I definitely run into Tofu more. And I don't run into a lot of them, period, just because I'm not at that level. Tofu is acting like what happened with Myler. Yeah, true. Canada says, I had an idea because of hardcore mode. What are your thoughts on a mode where you pay a little DC per battle, but the rewards are greater? Okay, so let me say this about hardcore mode, and I'm going to talk about it more in the 5 biggest takeaways as well, because as soon as he started mentioning hardcore mode, which going into the town hall, I had no idea, and he mentioned it, like, I think in the town hall chat. But as soon as he started talking about it, and then he mentioned it was PJ's idea. If you remember, several months ago, or maybe a month or two ago, I talked about the fact that I had an extensive conversation with PJ, just all through Discord, right? Clayboyne had connected us because PJ was just trying to talk with some of like the content creators and contributors out there. And so it was just casual conversation, and I'm not going to, respect his privacy. I'm not going to reveal anything from there, but a lot of it was, just asking for my thoughts and feedback on certain different things. And then I got to ask him a bunch of questions, right? I think one of the things that I'd shared was like, what makes you excited for, Splinterlands? Like, you're the CTO, and like, obviously you can't share a bunch of things with me, but having learned so much about PJ's background, it's like, wait, like, come on, man. Why are you working at Splinterlands? You could be making tons of money working at any of these like massive crypto firms. And he kind of explained how bullish he was on where he thought Splinterlands could go and how big he thought it could be, which made me in turn quite bullish. But as part of that conversation, he mentioned this idea, which I think is what's turning into hardcore mode. And, out of respect for that, and respect for the fact that it's probably changed a lot, right? Matt says that it's not fully tweaked. A lot of what Matt did mention today kind of lines up with what he was thinking about doing. And again, it's just a game mode idea. It's not like there's some crazy alpha, but the stuff that Matt had mentioned today is actually quite interesting as it aligns with what he was saying, right? There was a huge loss in the economy from bots. And whether you like them or not, they did prop up the economy for a very long time. And you can say that had there not been any bots, then there wouldn't be an economy to prop up in the first place, right? Things would have grown somewhat naturally. But I'm not even saying that this is like bot related. But what I think they're trying to do is find a way. And the 2 key things that Matt said today, let me reference my notes real quick. 2 key things on that hardcore mode that he referenced is that obviously they want to try and use it as a way to give value for older cards, but they also want to use it as a way to give value for people who own multiple copies. And so that to me is interesting, because it sounds like this could be another game mode that gets introduced and allows people that are sitting on a bunch of cards that don't have any rental value to now get some kind of value out of them, right? I have 4,000 Pellicore Bandits, I think, or something like that. Like, it'd be cool to use them in something like a hardcore mode. So, I thought what PJ had mentioned was really interesting. I think it's even more interesting now that it seems like some version of that is getting discussed and potentially getting put into the game. And if that combined with LAN 1.75 is something that we can expect in the next 4 to 6 months, which it sounds like, right? That could be exciting times in Q1. That could be really exciting times. I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to get anything crazy. And obviously I know I'm being a little coy here, because I just want to be respectful of people's privacy and not share like conversations. But Yeah, keep in mind, this is like 2 months ago, and he just mentioned like this would be a really cool idea. And I was like, oh yeah, actually, okay, fine. Yeah, so just the fact that they're working on something that I think could constitute a new game mode, hardcore mode or whatever it's called. Having that and Land 1.75 launch at the same time, following Glamour, hopefully coming out this year. To quote Nate, he said Glamour is on deck. So my hope is that we do see that before the end of the year. In terms of like your idea here, you pay a little DEC, but the rewards are greater. I don't think that's what they're getting at. And I think it's just best to wait because, again, I don't even know if it's necessarily like the same idea. But Threevon, what's going on? Canna says, is that pretty much tournaments? Damn, it's popping in here. We got a good crowd today. I was thinking it for ranked play, more glint, more SPS. You know what sorry, related to this, but the idea that I liked was like the little wager option where you could do challenges with anybody. You each put up like 10 DEC. I mean, it could be anything, right? But you each put up 10 DEC. A portion of it goes to the DAO and the rest of it goes to the winner. I don't know. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. I wonder how many people would actually use that. Again, it would be like small microtransactions, right? Where it's like, all right, you guys got to challenge me. We'll put up some DEC, and we'll see how it goes. But then again, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that takes away like the value of it. I just think people are degenerate gamblers, especially a lot of people in crypto. Dragon says, what did Nate think of the real nickname? Carne Asada? That's another one. I mean, this thing is going to get called anything but Conclave Arcana. California, Carne Asada. Someone had another good one yesterday. No more alt season, says Boom Me. A lot of the people that I'm following are thinking that alt season doesn't really take off until next year. I think the thought is that ETH Bitcoin, that pairing, bottoms out sometime in Q4, and we may be bottoming out now. The other thing too that I've been following is Bitcoin dominance. We're seeing that continue to rise. I think that there definitely will be certain alts that pop off. Like, for example, Prime seems to be doing, I don't want to say well, but it's like fighting. It's like fighting. So I'll have to check some of the other altcoins out there. Burning Oak says, I want to know who the hell is opening so many chaos packs in the last 3 weeks, like 20K opened. This is what I called out in that last, or not last video, but like a recent video. I mean, we've opened 500,000 this year. Let me refresh this and see where we're at now, so we can get up-to-date numbers. Yeah, so I mean, since the video where we crossed under 2 million, we've opened up almost another 14,000. I don't get it either. I don't know who's opening them. Now, granted, keep in mind, there's like a 33% premium here on the estimated value versus the pack value. So if you're scooping up packs for 31 cents and you're opening them at scale and able to pull 41 cents of value per pack by getting a gold foil legendary or legendary card or something, I mean, some people might still be arbitraging that market, which is interesting. Threevon says, what is Glamour? Ooh, okay. So Glamour is the upcoming cosmetics and skins system that the team has in place. It sounds like it's going to be a little bit more in depth than your standard cosmetics and skins. It's going to potentially give some benefits. You'll have the opportunity to level it up. No benefits in game. They did confirm that today, at least as of today. They had toyed with the idea of maybe increasing stats. Like I think I talked about it in the past where, for example, if you have a skin on Jin O'Shaughnessy, maybe he gets an additional speed, right? Or an additional damage for that, right? If you have a maxed glamour skin on him. But they don't want anything to affect battles, which I think is good, at least for the time being. It's just going to affect stuff outside of battles. And the only example that they gave was like increase glint per win or something. And they said other ideas. My only other guess is, at least at this point, is that they can do stuff with land, right? So maybe, but then again, like land is kind of in the mix too. but maybe you can throw glamour on a land card that you throw on land, and that'll give you like a 1% boost to your production. Again, none of that is confirmed, but that's what glamour is. Yeah, something like that. All right, video says we need a wild without bots to reward players that know how to play the game. Yeah. All right, so Brandon says, I was down with that video. That's called modern. I know, but I think what they're trying to get at is that all these old cards, people that enjoy playing the older meta. Wild is not wild enough. All right, if you create too many leagues, you dilute match liquidity. Tournaments are also a good option to get rewarded for knowing how to play the game. Yeah, we could definitely use more tournaments, especially I guess wild level ones, but I don't know, man. It's a tough one. Oh shoot, today's Thursday. I was thinking today was Wednesday for a minute. All right, I want to do I don't know if I'll be able to do it. All right, so I want to start doing not necessarily Saturdays, because I can't do this Saturday, but like, you know, like a Saturday night Splinterlands, the same way they had like Friday Night Magic. I want to start setting up these tournaments, because I have not set up a single one yet. I feel a little guilty about that, because I was the one, you know, crying for it for a long time, the ghost card tournaments. So I want to set that up. And I think we can do it in a fun way, or it's not, you know, gonna break the bank. Just do like a little DEC and then burn that DEC or send it to the DAO or something. Actually, that might be the best way to do it. Just send all that stuff to the DAO. Half of it to the winner, half of it to the DAO. What do you guys think? Everybody's on the same footing. You can invite your friends. They can come play, learn the meta. Maybe we can even do two tournaments in a night, depending on how many people there are. I'd like to start getting to that regularly and scheduling live streams specifically for that. I think during the day, though, is a little tough, considering a lot of people are at work and such. But you know, maybe it's not the case. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, we can also switch up the time and alternate. Bolt says, since we are on the subject, even though you are not a Dodger fan, we still appreciate you after sound. Okay, thanks. Wait, what does this have to do with the Dodgers? I did live in LA for a year, but I guess I wasn't a Dodger fan still. I'm just not a baseball fan, period. Burning Elk Tournament says, tournaments need to be reworked. It's not that tournaments need to be reworked. I just think that there is a huge missed opportunity. Actually, now that there's a marketing guy, maybe I should reach out to Blaze and be like, yo, somebody needs to be hosting live streams and tournaments. And maybe this is something I'll do like with them. Especially because we only get like one touch point with the team now, once a month. I think setting up tournaments, inviting team members. You know what? I'm gonna let Blaze do his thing. Maybe we'll do that here. I'm trying to build out this channel too, so I normally don't have team members on the channel, but it might be fun to reach out to some folks, see if they want to come hang. Yeah, they are an old system. How would you change it? I would also send some to the team. Oh, okay. I mean, I don't think we're going to be making tons of money on that, but sure. You're awesome. Be there for support on that tournament idea. Yep. Get with Brybro. Okay. Yeah, bring Blaze on, and during the hangout, have him do some challenges. Let's see how much he knows the game. Let's see how good your skill set is, Blaze. I'll reach out to him. You know what? It's because I keep saying, like, I have all these questions and I want other people to go ask him, or I want People's Guild to interview him. I mean, I do want People's Guild to interview him because Jangles is the best in the game. But yeah, maybe we'll invite him on, see how it goes. Thinking about match liquidity tournaments, leagues, do battles have to be played in real time? Why not submit battles and wait for the other within set time? So to me, the value of tournaments is only in doing live tournaments. The fact that we literally give out thousands of dollars to play tournaments with a set and new tactics option that is not even usable is a travesty. Like, why all those marketing dollars to not use the newest and coolest idea in the game? We've done that for the past year, which is just atrocious in my opinion. I'm gonna run out of words to express my disgust with it, because again, unnecessary SPS dilution. I believe in tournaments. I think tournaments are great, but not allowing people to use tactics is the dumbest thing in the world. And I'm not even pointing fingers at anybody specifically, right? Because this is just the nature of having a global game where it's a different time for every person. So it's not the team's fault. It's not the DAO's fault. It's a matter of the situation. But what we haven't had, in my opinion, is somebody take a closer look at it and say, hey, there's an opportunity to do this as a community building tool, as a marketing tool, rather than everybody play whenever they want, right? Your gold level tournaments, your diamond level tournaments, have everything be once a day, or at a certain time, and people will make time for it. You just make sure you alternate, right? I can't attend this one, but I'm going to try and attend the next one. And then I actually wouldn't even mind if the rewards were higher for tournaments, because then you had people coming in and playing in real time, and it wasn't just I'm just going to put in my teams and show up later and whatever. All right, not a bad idea. All right, someone needs to bring the fire to our best players in the game. We need a talking head to do that. Blaze is pretty good. He's in Dwayne's guild. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, like I said, I don't know too much about Blaze. I'm not trying to take any shots at him. In fact, I'm excited about the fact that there's somebody there now whose sole job is to come up with ideas and hopefully take ideas from the community and say hey, here's how we can reach more people, or here's how we can get the community more excited and turn this into an event, right? Rather than just an obligation. I mean, how many of you will just sign in and be like, oh, I gotta put my tournaments in the next couple of hours? Boring. That sucks. How many of you put in your tournaments early and then you don't even go back and check what your battles look like? You just wanted to see, did you win or did you lose? Boring. Or you come in towards the end and you're just trying to spam your battles towards the end so that you can get something, and you just want to make sure you submitted your battles so that you can walk away with the minimum SPS, because not even enough people are entering into the battle, into the tournament. So you're guaranteed to win something. Boring and awful for the game economy. All of that sucks. Yeah, I'm going hard on tournaments right now. All of it sucks. It needs to be redone. I agree. Whoever said that earlier. Yes, tournaments need to be redone. There should be no anytime tournament. Okay, that's a little extreme. It's a little dramatic. We can still have some anytime tournaments, but they should be deprioritized, in my opinion, versus live tournaments. Parallel is giving out $50,000 to the winners of their tournaments, and guess what? They live stream the entire thing. They have talking heads come in and discuss and talk strategy and commentate on the entire thing. It's a whole process, and they turn it into an event. We could be doing something like that. We should be doing something like that, but we don't. All right, getting off the soapbox now. All right. Overall, though, because I'm about to sign off, so let me know if there's any final questions or thoughts. I'm going to go through and organize my notes here and try to get out a 5 biggest takeaways before the end of the day. Overall, I thought it was a fantastic town hall, though. It was fun. It was exciting. It seems like there's a lot of interesting things that the team is working on. To wrap things up for folks that might have missed it, whether you watched the town hall or maybe you just didn't hear that portion, there are 4 main things that the team is trying to knock out in the next 6 months. Let's see if I can remember them off the top of my head. No, actually, I'm going to look up notes. Conclave Arcana is the big one that comes out in 6 months. You got Land 1.75, which is something that they're hoping to get out in Q1, so 4 to 6 months. You got Glamour, which is something that, as Nate said, is on deck, and they're just waiting to implement it. So my hope is that we can get that maybe in November, December. That'd be kind of nice now that we know what's coming on the 1029 update. And then finally, we haven't gotten much more information on this, but Hardcore Mode, which is potentially a new game mode. And if I'm remembering my conversation with PJ correctly, then I think it could actually be quite awesome, because it could create an opportunity. I'll say the only thing I'll say about this about it is this: like not everyone is going to be the target for hardcore mode. Like it's literally called hardcore mode. I think it's something that will probably be for large spenders and whales, but hey man, if there's a way for them to go and create more market activity and create more DEC burns, scoop up a lot of extra cards off the marketplace, because it's a game mode that caters to people that are, you know, really, really into it. Yeah, could be pretty awesome and help the economy overall. So DJ says, why don't you do that after sound? Run with it. Great idea. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but hopefully maybe it's the tournament stuff. Well, we're definitely going to do more tournament things here. Now that I have access to the Ghost Card tournaments. I really wanted to like start a league, but I think managing that is not necessarily, I mean, it is difficult. It's difficult and time consuming. And I don't know what the buy-in for something like that would be, but we can definitely start doing tournaments and start doing this kind of Saturday night Splinterlands type thing. And I think it would actually be quite cool. I'm usually on a no teammates on the channel policy, but you know, maybe we'll change that up where we can just have kind of casual conversation, talk through strategy and meta, and you know, kind of like try to poke on some things of whatever the team's working on. So we'll see. I'll see how let me sleep on it, see how I feel about it. We're definitely going to do tournaments, but if it makes sense to try and you know, hit up some of the team and see if they want to just join, or maybe not even the team, they could be other content creators or other folks in the community as well. Just have fun playing the game, because the game itself is awesome, and doing Ghost Card challenges puts everybody on the same playing field, where all you got to do is spend some DEC to participate. And I don't know what that's going to look like. 100 DEC, I don't know, something like that. And then we'll find something productive to do with the DEC. But that's it. That's all I got. Exciting times ahead. October 17th. We'll see where we end up in 6 months from now. Next one is going to be, I believe, on November 21st is what they said. So, and who knows, the world could look like a completely different place post-election and post-election, post-jobs report, and post potential rate cuts. Bitcoin might be in price discovery mode. We'll see. All right, guys, have an amazing rest of your day. I'll be out with more content soon, but that's all I got for you. Catch you all later. Peace.